You're watching Drink This Tonight, and welcome to the second episode in our series about mixology for beginners. So if you haven't watched our last video where I showed you how to make an old-fashioned, I'd highly recommend that. But today, we're going to be looking at a whole category of drinks called sour drinks. Now, the ingredients most commonly used to make a drink sour are going to be citrus, namely lemon and lime. Other forms of citrus like orange juice and grapefruit are tasty too, but they're not going to give you the acidity that's used to give it that zest in the drink. Of course, you can't just make a drink completely sour. It needs to be well balanced so that the acidity counteracts things like sweetness and the alcohol level of the drink. We're going to show you a couple drinks that you can use as templates for sour drinks, so you can get started making your own sours right at home. The first cocktail we're going to be making is the Daiquiri, which I think of as being the quintessential sour cocktail. It's made with rum and lime, and you can use it as a basis for other sour cocktails, like a whiskey sour, for example. So we're going to start with 2 ounces of light rum. It doesn't matter what you use. I like to use a nicer rum so I can really taste it, but whatever you've got is fine. Next, we're going to need 1 ounce of lime juice, and it's really important to use freshly squeezed lime. The stuff that comes in those Roses bottles or the little green plastic containers just isn't that good. Fresh lime is really going to make your cocktails a lot nicer. And then the last ingredient is just going to be a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, which you can make in about 10 minutes. It's basically 1 part sugar to 1 part water heated up on the stove. So we're going to add some ice to this mixing glass here. And then we're going to cap it. So when we showed you how to make an old-fashioned, we showed you that it was a stirred drink. Anytime you add citrus to a cocktail, it's almost always going to be shaken. The reason is it gives it a little bit of aeration, and it works a little bit better with the citrus. Now, you will need a shaker for this. They're pretty inexpensive. You can find them online. Alternatively, you can just use a mason jar as long as it has a lid. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cap it nicely, and then I'm going to shake it until the tin starts to get really cold on my hand, about 15 seconds generally. The way that you break the shaker open, you don't bang it on the table. All you have to do is find the spot where the metal meets the glass and just kind of lightly tap it there, and it'll just come free. Then I have this nice coupe glass here. This is a Libby coupe glass. You can find them online. They're very inexpensive, and I find that they're the perfect size for this type of cocktail. I'm just going to take this and double strain it. We have a video showing you the basic equipment to get started with a home bar where you can learn more about this stuff. But I always double strain shaken cocktails. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And that's a Daiquiri. Tart, sweet, perfect. The next cocktail I want to show you is a margarita. And I love margaritas, but I think a lot of people have a bad idea of what a margarita is in their head because they go to Chevy's or somewhere like that and they get a big old thing of this frozen goop. It's like overly sweet and kind of disgusting in my mind. But a margarita done right can be a beautiful thing. I wanted to show you how to make it because it's a lot like a daiquiri, only it's using orange liqueur to sweeten it rather than simple syrup. That's a common thread that you'll see as you're learning how to build your own cocktails. Swapping out one thing for another, kind of like Mr. Potato Head, can be a really cool way to find out new drinks that you can make right at home. So the recipe for a margarita goes 3 parts, 2 parts, 1 part. We're going to start with the tequila, which is 3 parts. I'm going to cut it in half to make 1 portion. So 3 parts would be 1.5 ounces of tequila. And you can use any tequila, but you get what you pay for, so the nicer stuff is going to taste a little better. Next, we're going to do 2 parts of Cointreau. I'm going to cut it in half again for 1 portion, so 1 ounce of Cointreau. You can also use triple sec, but triple sec tends to be a little bit on the sweeter side, so adjust accordingly. And then 1 part of lime is going to equal 3/4 of an ounce. I'm going to add ice to this as well, just like that. And pop that lid on. And we'll just shake. And then we'll just strain it into a glass like this. Some people like to serve it on the rocks. Personally, I prefer it up in a rocks glass just like that. Delicious. Now, actually, this is a 3-in-1 because if you can make this, you can actually make 2 other cocktails. For example, if you swap out vodka for the tequila, you've got a kamikaze. Take brandy instead, and then lemon instead of lime, and that's a sidecar. There you go, 3 classic cocktails for the price of 1. So to recap, today we showed you how to make a margarita and a daiquiri, two of what I think are the most quintessential sour cocktails. Really, they're just templates though. You should feel free to take these recipes and use them to build your own amazing drinks. We also didn't dive too much into lemon today, which is an important tool in the arsenal of the home bartender. There are literally thousands of recipes made with lemon, and I encourage you to experiment to see what kind of flavor combinations work with lemon versus lime. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit that like button, and if you really liked it, make sure to subscribe. And remember to tune in next time for our next installment in the series of Mixology for Beginners.